the man famously known as D.B. Cooper hijacked a Portland to Seattle flight saying he had a bomb. He demanded 4 parachutes and $200,000 in cash, and then he jumped out of the plane.
A man with no past. The legend of D.B. Cooper began long before he ever stepped onto that plane in Portland. Who was he? The truth is, no one really knows. The man who called himself Dan Cooper left no traceable past, no known affiliations, and no definitive identity. Some speculate he was a disgruntled veteran of the Vietnam War, embittered by the system that had abandoned him. Others believe he was an ex-con man, a meticulous planner who had waited for the perfect moment to strike. The truth remains elusive, buried beneath decades of speculation, dead ends, and wild theories. What is known is that he was a man who meticulously planned one of the most daring heists in history, and got away with it. On the rainy afternoon of November 24, 1971, a man in a dark business suit approached the ticket counter at Portland International Airport. He appeared to be in his mid-40s, with neatly combed hair and an unremarkable demeanor. In his right hand, he carried a cheap attaché case. With his left, he slid over a few wrinkled bills and purchased a one-way ticket to Seattle. He signed the flight manifest under the name Dan Cooper. Flight 305 boarded quickly, and within minutes, the plane lifted off the runway, ascending into the overcast sky. Cooper took a seat near the back and ordered a bourbon and soda. He observed the flight attendants as they moved through the cabin, tending to the 36 passengers. He was patient, waiting for the right moment. A short time after 3 p.m., as the plane cruised at altitude, Cooper motioned for a stewardess, Tina Mucklow. As she approached, he handed her a small note. Expecting the usual flirtation from businessmen, she tucked it away without reading it. "You might want to look at that," he said calmly, his voice smooth yet firm. "I have a bomb." Her breath caught as she unfolded the note. Written in precise block letters was a chilling message. "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I want $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane in Seattle. No tricks, or I'll use it." Tina hesitated, her hands trembling slightly as she looked at Cooper. His expression was composed, almost indifferent, his posture relaxed. At his command, she sat down beside him. He unlatched the briefcase just enough to reveal a tangle of wires and red sticks. Whether real or not, it looked convincing. "Write another note," he instructed. "Give it to the captain." She complied, her breath unsteady as she relayed the message to the cockpit. The pilot relayed Cooper's demands to air traffic control. Authorities in Seattle scrambled to gather the ransom while Flight 305 remained in a controlled holding pattern over Washington. Cooper remained calm throughout, even offering to buy drinks for the crew. "Don't worry," he told Tina with a smirk. "I don't have a grudge against you. Just do as I say, and no one gets hurt." By the time they landed in Seattle, the ransom and parachutes were ready. Cooper released the passengers in exchange for the money, but he kept a few crew members aboard. As instructed, the plane was refueled. Then, he issued new flight orders: head to Mexico City, maintaining an altitude below 10,000 feet and a speed under 200 knots. The pilot followed his instructions. An hour into the flight, somewhere over the rugged forests of Washington, Cooper made his move. He donned a parachute, secured the canvas bag filled with money, and walked to the rear of the plane. The wind roared as he cracked open the aft stairway, a dangerous mid-flight exit. Tina watched, her heart pounding. "You won't survive this," she said. Cooper turned, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Miss Mucklow," he said with a smirk, "from here on out, I'm taking the express route." And with that, he jumped into the darkness. The pilots landed safely in Reno, but Cooper was gone. The FBI launched an extensive investigation, scouring the forests along the flight path, yet no trace of the hijacker was found. Over the years, hundreds of suspects were investigated, but none matched the precise physical description given by the flight crew. In 1980, a young boy stumbled upon a rotting package of $20 bills along the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. This discovery reignited theories about Cooper's fate. Had he perished in the wilderness, or had he pulled off the greatest escape in history? For decades, the case remained unsolved. The FBI followed hundreds of leads, investigated more than 800 suspects, and even recovered a clip-on tie left behind by Cooper, one that held a minuscule DNA sample. But no clear answers emerged. Then, in 2024, a startling revelation emerged. Siblings Shantae and Rick McCoy III came forward with a shocking claim. Their father, Richard McCoy Jr., was D.B. Cooper. McCoy, a former military helicopter pilot who served in Vietnam, had already been a suspect in the case. He had committed a nearly identical hijacking in April 1972, demanding $500,000 before parachuting out over Provo, Utah. He was arrested just days later, sentenced to 45 years in prison, but escaped in 1974, only to be killed in a shootout with the FBI. The McCoy siblings provided what could be the most compelling evidence yet, a parachute found in their late mother's shed. Retired pilot Dan Grider, an independent investigator, claimed this specific parachute was 1 in a billion. The FBI reportedly took possession of it and began new DNA testing, comparing it to the genetic material left on Cooper's tie, which was recovered from the plane. As the FBI quietly re-examines the case, the world awaits an answer. Was D.B. Cooper truly Richard McCoy Jr.? Did he evade capture for decades, only to die hiding his greatest secret? Or does the truth still remain lost in the vast wilderness of the Pacific Northwest? D.B. Cooper vanished, leaving behind only questions and legend. Did he survive that daring leap? Was he a mastermind or just a lucky opportunist? Even now, his story continues to captivate the public, inspiring books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories. If the final truth is ever uncovered, it will mark the end of one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Until then, the legend of D.B. Cooper remains, drifting on the winds of history, just like the man himself on that fateful night in 1971. Myths and questions that remain. Who was D.B. Cooper? Did he have a military background, government connections, or was he just an ordinary man with extraordinary planning? Did he survive the jump? If so, where did he go after landing, and how did he evade capture? Why was only a small portion of the money ever found? Did he retrieve the rest, or was it lost in the wilderness? Was Richard McCoy Jr. truly Cooper? Does the new DNA testing hold the final answer? Did he have an accomplice? Was someone waiting on the ground to help him escape unnoticed? Why was the case suddenly revisited in 2024? Has new evidence emerged that could finally solve the mystery? Could the hijacking have been an inside job? Did Cooper have knowledge that only someone in aviation or law enforcement would have? If Cooper survived, why did he never strike again? Did he retire with his winnings, or did something else happen to him? And that's the end of today's case. The mystery of D.B. Cooper has captivated the world for over 50 years. Did he outsmart the FBI and vanish into obscurity? Or is the final truth still buried somewhere in the Pacific Northwest? With new evidence emerging, we may be closer than ever to an answer, or we may never know. What do you think happened to D.B. Cooper? Let us know in the comments. And if you love true crime and unsolved mysteries, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a case. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and we'll see you in the next case.